Yeah, that's right. It's nothing but Netflix back again to talk to you about the hottest movie on Netflix right now. And it should be no shocker that the way Netflix operates, it's going to be Adam Sandler. I'm your host, Chappell, and I have with me two people who have seen this movie. They know Adam Sandler's work well, and hopefully they know some of these golfers from the 32 Fans podcast and from various other RHAP appearances. Akiva, Chester, welcome.
Hey, what's
Yeah,
going on?
Akiva's face
Netflix.
blind, and I only know the golfers that I bet on occasionally. So yeah, we're not golf experts necessarily, but hopefully we'll be able to help you out a little bit.
This isn't a golf movie, though.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
it
It's
has
a
a
movie
lot of
about
golfers
family.
in it.
Yeah, I mean, the original Happy Gilmore is probably more of a golf movie in a weird way than this one, but this was definitely Adam Sandler just spending a lot of money or getting, I don't know, a lot of favors from a bunch of famous people to put on a sequel for, I guess, one of his most notable projects of all time. So if you haven't already checked out Happy Gilmore, go check out Happy Gilmore. Two, obviously. But if you haven't seen the first one, I guess this movie would be very confusing to you. It does a good job by catching you up on some of the stuff you missed. But let's talk about the movie we have in front of us today. Akiva, Happy Gilmore. They are revamping it. People have been talking about the idea of this happening for a while. What do you think about Happy Gilmore as far as like Adam Sandler's early works or where it ranks in, like, I guess his IMDb or, you know, the movies that he's most known for?
For in terms of Sandler 90s comedy, so taking out like because Uncut Gems, one of my favorite movies, but taking something like that out. This is my number one. Happy Gilmore. You know, a lot of people have Billy Madison. Some people, I don't know. The Waterboys has had like a big comeback in the last decade. This is my number one. Big Daddy people like. But yeah, this is my favorite Sandler movie from that era. And you know, yeah, people were waiting for a long time for this, and you know, we got Happy Gilmore too, and not Jilly Madison, his daughter, going through all 12 grades. That is probably coming next. Let's be honest.
I mean, he can do whatever he wants on Netflix, Chester.
I'm glad to hear Akiva say that, because when I was a kid growing up, it was always, I felt like most people said Billy Madison was number one, and I was always a Happy Gilmore guy. So I'm glad to have Akiva on that side with me. To your point, Chappelle, yeah, he's constantly pumping out these Netflix movies. I've never seen any of them. Like, you know, to me, like the Sandler of the 90s is iconic, and all these Netflix movies I wasn't so into. But this one, obviously, I was going to watch because how much I loved Happy Gilmore. And I got to say, I'm coming in hot. I love this movie. Like, I see some people hating on it. Like, I had a whole watch party for this movie Sunday night, and one of my friends bailed at one point. He's like, all right, I've seen enough. I don't get it. Like, I thought this movie was great. Are you coming into this movie expecting it to win an Oscar? Then like what are you doing? Are you coming into this movie expecting there not to be massive plot holes, or expecting even a plot at all that makes any coherent sense or motivations for the characters? No, that's not what we're here for. We're here to have fun. I had a ton of fun. I would highly recommend this movie. Highly, highly recommend you watch this movie. Obviously, you need to know Happy Gilmore 1, but even if you don't, they show the clips of like half of Happy Gilmore 1 in this movie, so you'll be okay anyways. And this movie also, for a movie that had a lot of people in it, probably issued more SAG cards than any other movie ever, because there are 74 cameos in this movie. There are no actual working actors in this movie. It's just a bunch of famous, obviously you got like comedians and friends of Adam's whole family, his wife, his kids, his mother, but also you have all the golfers, you have hockey players, you have tennis players, you have a bunch of musicians. There are so many celebs in this movie, so many cameos. I didn't even pick up on some of them until I went after the movie to look them up. And it's so much fun just seeing who can you spot and who do you miss. And like, it's almost a drinking game with your friends. Like if you see someone before they do. So I had a lot of fun. I've watched this movie once and a half, and I'm probably going to watch it again, honestly.
Chappelle, where does this rank in the Sandler oeuvre for you?
You know, like oeuvre, that's a good one. So I don't know. So I grew up liking Happy Gilmore a lot. Billy Madison, The Waterboy, all those things. And then, you know, recently I've been covering and watching a lot of his Netflix stuff, because this is nothing but Netflix. And so we do talk about Adam Sandler quite a bit here on Nothing But Netflix. I enjoyed Hustle, Akiva. That was fun. But as far as like the comedies that made me a fan of Adam Sandler, Happy Gilmore was one of the top ones. And I'm kind of with Alex. I really enjoyed this. I thought it was a fun, easy watch. I think the part he talks about with like being a drinking game where you can see if you can spot anybody. To me, this felt like almost like a love letter to Adam Sandler's career, because you see so many people that he's worked with as well in the past. Like you said, his whole family's here. We get the greatest hits from some of the characters from other movies. We see people who weren't in the original Happy Gilmore that are appearing in this movie, and it's just like you can remember those times from The Water Boy or from Billy Madison where these people popped up in other ways. So I really thought that was the novelty of watching it. I enjoyed that part the most, just as someone who really grew up watching some of these films. But Akiva, you said Happy Gilmore was your favorite. How do you feel Happy Gilmore 2 stacked up?
Well, I don't think it's stacked up. There was a viral tweet that was like, people complaining about Happy Gilmore 2 are the same people who complain about the quality of a gas station hot dog. It's like you knew what you were getting into. Like, it's a hot dog. You were hungry, but what were you expecting? I definitely, there were definitely moments where I laughed. I definitely enjoyed seeing, oh, that's funny that they did that. There was very long stretches where I was like a little bit out on it, or there's things I really didn't like that we'll get to. And I think there was some crazy choices they made. Some of the script seemed like they were really just making it up on the fly. There was like one or two jokes that like I think you could have punched up in like 2 seconds, and it didn't seem to put in like that much work. But overall, like it is exactly what I thought it would be, stuffed with cameos and with callbacks, and it's a Netflix Sandler sequel 30 years later. It's ultimately it's a feel good story about a guy whose wife gets killed in the first 5 minutes of the movie by him.
That was amazing, by the way. Totally unexpected.
I definitely did not expect for Happy to have gone on to murder his wife with, I guess a golf drive. He hit her, square in the face. She takes her out, and now he's a single dad of 4 boys and 1 girl. We could care less about the boys because all they're going to do is fight and argue about the Bruins. They're very much the hockey side of him. But his daughter is trying to go to Paris to take a dance school in Paris that costs $1 billion. And so Happy's going to get dragged back into playing golf. But it's not without its normal bumps in the road. And again, a lot of callbacks to the first movie. Chester, do you think this movie works without the constant references to the first film? Because you can do a sequel without it basically being a copy or like a remix of the original movie, but that's not what they did.
Yeah, we were originally, as I said, I had a little viewing party to watch this Sunday night. We were originally going to do it Saturday night, and then a couple of the people said, I haven't seen Happy Gilmore 1 in a while, so I want to watch that Saturday night, and then let's do the Happy Gilmore 2 Sunday night. It turns out it's really not necessary because they cover it all in the first one, in the second one. And I don't think it's strictly necessary because nobody who's watching this didn't already watch the first one. But, to Akiva's point, they got to stretch out. They got to fill the full time. And I guess they didn't have enough script to do so. Otherwise, it's not only, though, a sequel to Happy Gilmore 2. To your point, Chappell, like this covers all of like the classic movies from Adam Sandler, like The Water Boy, for example. You have the scene where the golf ball on the ball, it sort of represents, right, like where the football in Happy Gilmore, and it looks like the KKK guy and the kicker kicks it because he's mad at it. Like they do the same thing with the golf ball here. They reference so many of Adam Sandler's other movies throughout this movie. So yeah, this is really a celebration. If God forbid Adam Sandler got hit by a golf ball tomorrow, I think this is a good way for him to go out, because this really like encapsulates the fun that he's given us for 3 decades and really summarizes so many of his movies, not just Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, that's a plot question I had, Keith. In the first Happy Gilmore, Happy is somebody who is driven by rage, but they don't really talk about that. He's just like a hothead, right? He's got like he's in the penalty box. I think he has a record for the most time spent in the penalty box. He gets in a fight with Bob Barker. The man has temper issues. However, in this movie, they say, yeah, that's what really drives his his drive, I guess. His golf swing in a lot of ways is just that rage. And they really do kind of like superimpose The Water Boy on top of Happy Gilmore. I never realized those movies had such similar motivation for that character.
You're giving them a lot of credit that you put more thought into it just now than I think they did. I think Sandler's just like, here's what we're shooting. We get a blank check. Every single person I'm related to or friends with gets like a full speaking role. I mean, his daughter is 16 years old, and she's like the 3rd lead in this movie. I don't even know if she's an actress. Like she's legitimately, after him, maybe Shooter McGavin, who comes in a little later.
Yeah, Sunny, that daughter is an actress. The other daughter who's in the movie is not an actress.
Right. So Sunny is the one who's has, I think,
Vienna is his daughter.
She was in the other Netflix movie, right? The one about the bar mitzvah.
She was in the bar mitzvah movie. Yeah. She's been in. I'm looking at her filmography. She's been in like 20 movies. I assume that they're all Adam Sandler movies, also. But yeah.
And his other daughter is his friend at rehab, with the tattoos that I believe are fake.
I thought. See, okay, that makes sense because they did look a lot alike. I was like, by the end of it, and I think she makes a nod to it. She's like, "Oh, you remind me of my dad." Okay, it's starting to make sense.
And she doesn't look like someone who'd otherwise be in the movie, to be perfect.
Right.
So it's like,
why is she here?
A child, like that's a weird role for like a 16-year-old a little bit. So it's all his friends, it's his family. Even like when he meets the 7-foot, monster guy from the first movie's son, the old lady who threatens to beat him up is his real mom. Played by NBA legend Boban Marjanovic. That's his real mom, Adam Sandler's actual mom, threatening to beat up Boban. Like
she is Boban's mom.
No, it's Sandler's mom.
No, Adam Sandler's mom plays Boban's mom in the movie.
Correct. Yeah. So it's just it's the whole family, all his friends. It's everyone you'd expect. Everyone who gets a Christmas card is in this movie.
His 4 sons, who are the oldest one is played by the wrestler MJF. His name.
Did you know MJF Chappell?
No.
He's like MJF is like the best bad guy in AEW. An AEW, yeah. Matt Scott, I think, is a big MJF, and he's really good, but he's also he's so much bigger and older than the other sons that it's a little bit like that guy had to be born during Happy Gilmore 1, I think, right?
I think he was in 96. It looks like on Wikipedia. So yeah, he was around for the first movie.
He was born in 96. It says MJF. So yeah, not bad. So yeah, my 10-year-old son who watched the movie last night, his favorite part was actually the 4 sons, how they basically just go around beating people up constantly. They're named Gordy, Wayne, Bobby, and Terry. So I assume they're named after the hockey legends, Gordie Howe, Wayne Gretzky, Bobby Orr. And then is Terry Sawchuk? Who's the Terry supposed to be?
I don't know, but it's hockey names. I mean, he's still in the Bruins jersey playing. No one's ever done that, right? I don't think anyone's gone on the PGA Tour and imitated Happy Gilmore and been in a hockey jersey, but it would be a power move.
Yeah. A large part of Happy Gilmore 1 was that he was bringing a lot of new energy to the sport. He famously was like, "I'm a hockey player. I'm not a golfer. I'm just here to make some money." And by the end of it, he ends up bringing people from, what do they call it, diverse economic backgrounds, and all people together to where they're really enjoying and making golf a spectacle. And now in this movie, it seems like he's kind of settled into the normalcy of what golf was. He becomes a golf legend, and him going back now is kind of like him going to defend golf's honor. Keith, why didn't golf take off after the first Happy Gilmore? Because you would think that golf, we wouldn't still be trying to be like, golf is cool, right?
I would argue. I mean, when did Happy Gilmore come out? Like early 96?
Yeah, probably right around
before Tiger.
I would argue it did. I would argue maybe it wasn't even Tiger, because golf explodes in 97. Tiger wins the Masters April 97. So I think it did. Were people playing like Happy Gilmore? Not really. But, golf was so far below tennis when we were really young, and it's easily surpassed it since. And the money is ludicrous. And yeah, maybe it's a big niche sport as opposed to a sport that is like football or basketball that everyone who's a sportsman is basically watching. But I think it kind of did explode. I don't know if it had anything to do with Happy Gilmore, to be honest, but I do think from the last movie till now, golf has lived many lifetimes.
Well, Chappell, you're also asking plot questions, and this is not the movie to study the plot, right?
No,
it doesn't. The plot doesn't really make sense in that respect. So yeah, to Akiva's point, this movie comes out right before Tiger Woods, and as you said, this movie sort of celebrates the economic, let's say, socioeconomic diversity of golf fans. Obviously, Tiger does that, and even more so. And obviously, there's the racial diversity aspect that Adam Sandler's not bringing to it, and that comes right after the movie. But now we're in the post-Tiger malaise of golf a little bit. And from a plot perspective, it's kind of weird because they sort of forced in the whole live versus PGA aspect where there's another cool golf kind of league competing with the PGA and trying to threaten it. And it doesn't really make logical sense from a plot perspective. that Happy would be against that new league because Happy would be like super for that new league, right? You would think. And the way they sort of explained that as well, because my wife didn't, and my wife liked golf the way it was, and so I'm going to like it. And then, of course, the Benny Safdie character playing the new golf league, he tries to recruit Shooter McGavin, which makes no sense because Shooter McGavin was like the most traditional stodgy dork in the first movie. He would obviously never go for the new league. And of course we see that he doesn't. So from that perspective, it doesn't really make sense, but I do like how, the first movie sort of almost, predicted Tiger in a little respect. And this movie is sort of reacting to the Liv thing. And that's why you see like all these golfers are happy to be in this movie, partly probably because they get to hate on Liv, but also because like these guys all are obviously grew up loving Happy Gilmore, right? Like if you're a golfer, that's got to be like one of your favorite movies. And so he got like every golfer you could possibly think of to be in this movie, except for Tiger. And really like Tiger and Phil Mickelson are the two big gaps, right? Akiva, he's got all the old guys and then he's got all the new guys, but he sort of is missing those two from like the middle generation.
Yeah, well, Phil is involved in some drama, and then Tiger had just gotten hurt, and Tiger might be above this, honestly. There's no check you could throw at Tiger to like. He's weird, and he's not into like hanging with the guys.
He's only into hanging with Trump. I mean, like he seems like he's
the modern golfers all said yes immediately because they probably all grew up loving Adam Sandler. Like everyone, they got every name that they wanted in golf, and I could talk about the big sort of like the end piece, the last scene in the movie. And I can explain that to the non-golf people soon, but they got the biggest golfer, going to the old guys like Jack Nicklaus. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a lot of questions about the actual golf of this. So the Maxi golf situation, that's a reflection of what's going on in real life right now, Chester?
Well, I mean, yes and no. Like so Liv created a sort of a competitor league with the PGA. It wasn't doing all sort of the silly shtick that they're doing here, trying to make it young and hip. All they're really doing is just Saudi Arabia just throwing billions of dollars just to sort of it's sports washing, as they call it, to create a competitive league. It's not a different style of golf. It's really kind of the same. Yeah, this Maxi golf is obviously totally different. It's almost like the X Games of golf or whatever. That's another sort of plot hole. Why, when they agreed to do like the PGA versus Maxi competition, they have to use the Maxi rules? That didn't really make sense, except that they wanted to stick that all in the movie, right? You would think logically it would be that the Maxi people would be challenging the PGA people. We'll beat you at your own courses. So yeah, it's loosely, they had already started, if you read the Wikipedia page, it basically says they had already, Adam Sandler was already working on a sequel to Happy Gilmore. And then the Liv thing sort of said, oh, here's a good opportunity for a plot that there's a competitive league that's challenging it. But you certainly don't need to know anything about that to appreciate this, because
the irony is of the Liv league is there's almost no difference. There's like teams, but the teams don't really matter.
The rules are the
really
same.
Cares about them. Yeah. They went too far in this movie where like it's gonna be on ice and everyone's crazy colors and like and Liv, it's like we're gonna change nothing except it's gonna be like boring with like hundreds of millions of dollars in oil money, but we're gonna pay them beforehand so they don't even need to win or lose. They're all sort of like generationally wealthy now. So there would have been a happy medium, because I do think like in Happy Gilmore, the first movie, you really care. You're rooting for Happy, and the stakes, even if you're not a golf fan, feel very real, and it's close, and it feels kind of realistic, even though it's obviously very silly. And of course, in like the final shot, if I remember correctly, he hits the ball, and it's like a mini golf, and goes through like. But for the most of the movie, it's like real. But it just feels like the Maxi golf things feel so fake.
Yeah,
it's like it's cartoonish and ludicrous, and it almost makes you not care.
Yeah, and there's no stakes, as you said, Akiva, because on the last shot, spoiler alert, it's if you make it, I'll go away, and if you don't make it, you have to join my league.
Yeah, and
you'll
get
still make
millions
a ton
of
money. Like, yeah, who cares?
Yeah, it is true. And by the way, the guy, this isn't even a cameo because one of the main people in the movie, but the Safdie brothers who have recently broken up, the guys who made Uncut Gems, I guess Adam Sandler got control of one of them in the
breakup.
He is the I guess the main bad guy in the movie, the guy in charge of the new tour.
Yeah, there's so many bad guys in this movie though. It was hard to keep track.
Yeah.
Wait, Haley Joel Osment is the Jenkins, like the short guy who's like the star of the Maxi tour. He's good in this. Well, but also Shooter McGavin becomes good, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Some of the bad guys are good.
So here,
Ben Stiller, I guess, is the big bad.
So I put together my top 5 cameos. I want to hear your guys' feedback on this. All right.
Okay.
So my number 5 is Bad Bunny, who it's not even a cameo. He's like
not a cameo. He's like the third or fourth star of the movie too.
Yeah,
he shows Bad Bunny is like a massive star. I'm surprised they got him for like
he's enormous.
2 weeks to film this movie.
And he's not just dropping by for a minute. He's Happy's caddy. He's in the movie throughout. He's hilarious. Marcelo from SNL as his cousin is also it. So that's my number 5.
The caddy has a caddy. Honestly, is a good bit.
Number 4, I have Will Zalatoris, who is a real life golfer who plays the kid who was the caddy of Adam in the first movie, of Happy in the first movie, who Adam choked. I thought he was pretty funny and making fun of himself. Akiva, what is Will Zalatoris' reputation like among golfers?
I think he's just like a good player. I don't know if he's an outside personality. It's just funny because this movie's 30 years ago, so this guy would be like 50. In reality, in real life, he's 28. So
yeah, he aged from 60
he wouldn't have even been born when the movie came out. But all right, we can suspend reality.
All right, number 3 on my list is Travis Kelce. We see him once, he's pretty funny, and I'm like, okay, that was a good job by Kelce. But then he comes back, he has a couple more scenes, and he's very funny.
Also a bad guy.
Yeah, he's a bad guy also. Yeah, but what did you guys think of Kelce's performance?
Yeah, so at first I was like, oh, I know that guy. And so I was watching him. Then I was, oh, okay, it's Travis Kelce. We got him. Does he come back at the end as the DJ? Is that who he was? Who does he because I know he was like the waiter, but was it DJ somebody? I can't remember his name. Oh my gosh, or whatever. No, that was Austin Post. Yeah, I don't know. So I feel like if you're gonna use Travis Kelce, you could have used him a little bit more. They really had him as like the antagonist to Bad Bunny, and I guess he needed one.
Did you just call Post Malone by his Christian name?
Yeah.
I mean, if I called him Post Malone, I'd be talking about something else. Like, yeah, he's an actor now. He's very famous.
Yeah.
Now.
I didn't know that. Yeah. Number 2 on my list is the aforementioned Boban, who plays the son of Mr. Larson, Richard Kiel.
Looks a lot like him, to be honest.
I think everybody with Marfan syndrome has sort of a similar look, a little bit. Like anybody who's that, absurdly large. But he ends up showing all 7'4" of him. We see the full Boban, as they call it, and I thought that he was very funny, and he was definitely down. And then number 1 for me is Eminem. I was totally not expecting that. Eminem shows up as the son. Everybody's playing the son of. So he's the son of Donald, the guy who says jackass in the first movie, Joe Flaherty. And Eminem, he is very funny in this movie, I thought as well. What do you guys think of Eminem's performance?
I was shocked to see him here. It was kind of like we knew the jackass guy would be there because everybody else was. And so when it happened, I'm like, oh, there's that guy. It's like, it's Eminem. This is crazy. He was murdered by a bunch of alligators. The death count on Happy Gilmore is high. We see that we get to the graveyard of at least 7 of the people from the first.
They're all buried in the same cemetery.
Yeah, why is Bob Barker buried next to Happy's grandma?
Yeah.
I like they probably had no rights to Bob Barker, but you could put anybody's name on a grave probably, and it's fine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Bob Barker would have been down to be in it, right? He was in the first one. Why wouldn't he be?
Yeah, it made it seem like Happy killed Bob Barker, and in reality, Bob Barker kind of got the better of Happy. He beat his ass in that first movie, but they just kind of slipped his. It's almost like this, in memory of moment where you're going down all the people who are not here from the first movie. Chubbs was in that graveyard as well, so it was pretty cool. What'd you think about Lavelle Crawford as Chubbs Jr. Akiva?
Yeah, Lavelle Crawford, that was another one. I think someone told me that he was in there. That was another unexpected one. Chubbs is such a main character. I feel like we saw Chubbs 5 times also in this movie, right? Chubbs, every scene of Chubbs from the first movie is replayed in the second movie.
For sure.
It's all in the hips. It's all in the hips.
Yeah, which is a good explanation for how the maxi golfers are so good, right? It's all in the hips.
Yeah, so apparently now that Happy has become he's I guess the Steph Curry here of golf, because he goes and he revolutionizes this swing, and so now everybody has to play the Happy Gilmore game and learn how to drive really, really far. And so there's a elo lumbar ligament that gets severed. And I don't care. Basically, they're altering all of these people's bodies so that they can now compete, where you can drive really, really far. And I guess that helps in the Maxi League, where they have literal obstacles on the golf course and a shot clock. Okay, it sounds absurd, but I do think that they could use some of this stuff, Alex, to spruce up golf a little bit. A shot clock wouldn't hurt.
It helped baseball.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm not a big golf watcher, so I'm not the right one, but I don't know. Akiva, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think they could speed up the game. I only really watch the golf majors, and I'll turn on if people are talking about like the last few holes of a regular tournament that are exciting. So I think golf is a great TV sport because it's great for like the ADHD generation where it's just 30 different people golfing. Like you're getting this guy and then hey, let's go to this guy and that guy. It's not what I hear some people complain about football or baseball where there's just a long break between each piece of action. But yeah, golf could definitely speed it up. They could definitely modernize certain things. But I feel like golf is a little bit like hockey in that they have like their fans are such like diehard purist fans. They might end up running off their current fans to scare, to try and drum up traffic of people who wouldn't ultimately be interested in anyway.
Yeah, there are plenty more cameos to talk about. I want to go through most of them because that's the majority of the movie. I like seeing Kevin Nealon back again as Gary. I believe that whenever I see him, I think of Happy being like, suck my white ass. And so they brought a call back to that back. But there were so many other people. Alex, do you have like the next person on your list as being notable from this? Because why does John Daly have such a big role in this?
Yeah, well, John Daly is basically playing himself, right? Like a down on his luck former golfer who's sort of a bum now. So it wasn't too much acting on his part, really. Yeah, I mean, listen, they basically got everybody who was alive, and so the people who aren't alive is where they had to bring in the kids. And so, like we said, Eminem has to come in because he's passed away, and Chubbs obviously he has to come in, Chubbs Jr. So Lavelle Crawford comes in as I think Slim is his name, Chubbs' son here, ironic name obviously. So yeah, they got everybody that they needed, and then if they passed away, then they brought on somebody new. And I don't know who else are we missing in terms of the big cameos. We got Ben Stiller back, obviously.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I thought Paige Spiranek, who is a golfer known for more, I would say her Instagramming than her golf. I was kind of surprised her role was so minor and not really.
Who was she?
You put her in the movie, you get her to post 5 times on Instagram about it. That's like what's worth it. Yeah, she's just in the golf. She's just the golf pro that's there for 2 seconds.
She's famous in real life for basically being like a really hot golfer who posts like bikini pictures on Instagram, right? And yeah, so she plays an employee at Dick's Sporting Goods, but she's wearing like a regular Dick's polo. Like she's not wearing an outfit that Paige. So yeah, kind of a wasted opportunity there, I might say. But I don't know.
No, now that you point out that scene, it does like there were definitely moments where the movie highlights that it's a cameo. They might not tell you who it is, but they spend a little too much time on certain, one-off characters. That scene in Dick's, he definitely stops down and talks to her for way too long. It's like, why are we here? We get it. You have to go buy golf equipment, but do you really need the help of some young woman? And so now that you point out that that's Paige, it's like, okay, I get it. So,
and I did not realize it watching it the first time. I discovered that afterwards.
Yeah, now that you pointed out, I mean, it definitely makes sense. But they spent way too much time, on her, and so I knew like something about her needed to be important. I just didn't know who it was. But there were way more people. Like Reggie Bush is in this for some reason.
Yeah, he plays one of the golfers.
Yeah. And Becky Lynch, right? She's I think the woman golfer in this.
Yep.
Yeah.
WWE.
Yeah, she was Flex.
Does he love wrestling, Adam Sandler? Or is it like his kids maybe love wrestling and they're like, hey,
these are pretty deep cuts. He's got to know who these people are, right?
Yeah, I think he's a wrestling guy.
I could see it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else pop out. I mean, there were 75 cameos. Do you think he actually paid these people for this, Akiva? Like, I just feel like
that's a good question because it would be very expensive. Like Bad Bunny, first of all, like his quote would be so high for it to be like financially feasible. So I do wonder if almost everybody was in it basically got, like the day rate because, Sandler calls in a favor, hangs out with his friends. They probably had like ridiculously good caterings, like, hey, like nice hotel, good food. But, and you're out in a day. Most of these people probably out in a day or two outside of maybe, Bad Bunny or a couple, John Daly, people who are really in too many scenes to wrap in just 1 or 2 days. Even like the trio he golfs at the like the junkie course with Margaret Qualley, who's like a big time actress, Eric Andre's there, and I think the writer of the movie's son. Like everybody, there's almost nobody. Like Alex said, there's almost nobody who's just like a regular
working actor. Yeah,
like even the board who are trying to decide if if Shooter McGavin is eligible, and those people barely talk. They just say like, "Hey, let's get Benny Hanna." He's just writing in a line like jokes that wouldn't be in most other movies, just so they could have. Those are like two of the best women golfers of all time, like Nancy Lopez and Lily Corder. Like every single person in the movie is just like a random celebrity, and he's also best friends with Dan Patrick. Dan Patrick, I feel like, is in all his movies as a broadcaster, playing a version of himself.
Yeah, I don't really support working for free, but I definitely will say, like, if your friend is Adam Sandler and he's about to put you in the next Happy Gilmore movie, I think you just go. It's like I'm sure he'll pay me something, I'm sure. But like if he doesn't, do you want to be the golfer that missed out on this? Y'all were talking about how this is most of the modern golfers. I mean, I feel like you get the call, you just go, and then at the end of the day, you get that type of like that clout, because if you grew up watching Happy Gilmore, if you are a golfer and you grew up watching this, I feel like this is like your Space Jam. Like this is the closest thing you got to something like that. So you would want to be in it regardless. And then of course we know that a lot of these people, he's just really, really good friends with. John Lovitz pops up as the man at the driving range. Rob Schneider, of course, is there riding on a tricycle. Bobby Clark is there on a beach. There's so many people that we've seen from the other movies that popped up that I was like, there's no way I guess there is a way you pay all these people. But
no, I think it's like just vibes. You're paying them in like, hey, like some of his movies are like, hey, we're going to film this in Hawaii. And it's just like, oh, hey, guys, I'm going to get Netflix to pay for bring your wife and kids like for a 2-week vacation in Hawaii. I think that's really what it is. Also, like for some of his, his friends are older, like their kids or even their grandkids or whatever, like, hey, I'm going to be in this Netflix movie. They don't know Happy Gilmore. They don't know a lot of the stuff he's done. But, Netflix, the top page for a whole week or two. It's an easy sell to like, hey, your kids will think you're cool for once.
Yeah. So, Alex, do you think there's any world where we see any more of these classic Adam Sandler movies come back for a sequel that we haven't seen already? Because Happy Gilmore obviously is one of the faces of like his IMDb. But I mean, Billy Madison. You talked about Jilly Madison earlier. Could you see maybe them running it back for a second time now that they saw how well this is being received?
Yeah, it's a good question. We obviously see IP coming back in a lot of the movies that were, classic comedies from when Akiva and I were kids coming back. I liked this one more than I liked Coming to America. Wasn't that what the sequel was called? Coming to America.
Coming to.
Or what Axel? What they call the new Beverly Hills Cop? I forget what they called it.
Axel F.
Yeah, Axel F. I didn't love those as much. I mean, Jilly Madison's kind of a funny name. That would be sort of the obvious other one, I guess. But I don't know. To me, just Happy Gilmore works because you can put in all the athletes as the cameos. It's sort of because if you're not going to come up with a legit script to cover an actual 90-minute movie, which they obviously didn't here, then you're going to have to cover it with the references and the callbacks and the cameos and all that kind of stuff. And a sports movie works perfectly for that because you have so many athletes that you can stick in it. I don't know which other one it would work for. If they make a Jilly Madison, will I watch it? Probably I will. Right. So let's be honest, in a way that I'm not otherwise watching some of these Adam Sandler Netflix movies. So maybe, I don't know, but I mean, I don't know. Akiva, is there any other movie that you think would jump out as worthy of a sequel?
I mean, listen, what is he? He's going to be 60 years old in a year. And so he's got to pick. He does like, they used to say like one for me, one for you. I feel like he does 3 for me, 1 for you. Mm-hmm. His next movie is going to be, because he has done a few serious ones. It's called Jay Kelly. It's a Noah Baumbach movie that stars him and George Clooney and Laura Dern. Yeah. Like, that's a serious movie. That's like, I don't think it's supposed to be. It's still going to be released on Netflix because he has like a 1 million movie deal. I don't think it's like Oscar buzz level. I think when they made it, they thought like, oh, this is going to be an Oscar buzz movie. But I don't think it is. But also, I'm not sure if anybody's actually seen it yet. But so like he's made some of the worst movies of all time that feel like TV. This at least felt big. But some of the movies he's made recently, You Are So Not Invited to My Bar Mitzvah, things like that. That's like TV movie level, right? Mm-hmm. And so this is at least like feels. This could have been in the theaters. It would have. It wouldn't have gotten like great ratings, but probably would have made money first week.
Well, I will point out this movie is 70% at Rotten Tomatoes. RogerEbert.com gave it 3 stars. So like this movie's not getting total hate.
Okay. The first movie didn't get
this movie's probably higher rated than the first one was from Rotten Tomatoes, I would guess.
Yeah, right. Roger Ebert, he definitely didn't like this.
Yeah,
we like the movie, but that just because you like something doesn't necessarily mean it's good. Sometimes it just makes you feel
for
good,
sure.
you know. And I think that this was one of those movies that make you feel good. I found an article from 2020 that says The Waterboy 2, who will reportedly see Bobby train a new Waterboy, allegedly. Now this was in 2020, so they could have just been making this up. But you know, he does have this ridiculous contract and partnership with Netflix that offered him free creative freedom, or a complete creative freedom, I guess, over whatever he wants to do and how much money he wants to spend it, seemingly. So I can see the Waterboy coming back. You know, he's got kids, and he can be like, you know, like you said, he can train the next Waterboy or whatever the case may be. Some of this stuff is repeatable. I you know, if you use your imagination, because I guess Happy Gilmore shouldn't have been repeatable, but I mean, they took a lot of liberties with the way sports work. And like you said, it's a lot of just cameos and vibes as opposed to plot. So I would love to see like maybe the Waterboy 2 as something that we revisit. I like the Waterboy. I think now that we're talking it through, I think the Waterboy might be my favorite of them all. Yeah, I prefer.
It was considered like, that's fair. It was considered like, it was probably the worst reviewed of all of those, including certainly these two, which like were beloved almost immediately, even if they didn't make $1 zillion necessarily. Box office. And then Big Daddy was like, you know, got sort of good reviews by the Sandler metric. The Wedding Singer people liked, and then they got really bad. Like Little Nicky was universally, you know, considered terrible. And then he started making, Mr. Deeds was really bad. He started making serious movies like Punch Drunk Love a little bit, and he went away. So.
Yeah,
The Waterboy's great. Like if you could rewatch, like if I rewatched The Waterboy tonight or like showed it to my kids, I don't know how appropriate it is. I don't remember, but The Waterboy has a lot of like scenes that people still quote till today.
I'm looking at his list of works, and I'm seeing Eight Crazy Nights on here. The Hot Chick, I think he was produced, but he wasn't really in it. There's a few of these that I've watched and that I care about that was after Big Daddy, but not a lot of them. You know, like you said, it kind of falls off. I think The Longest Yard pops up at some point. But that's not a him specific movie. So yeah, I think that they could do it. I just don't know if like we've already reached the capacity where I was like, do people want more of this? Alex, do you think people would be clamoring for something else like this?
I mean, you mentioned Waterboy 2 being in, you know, a rumor that it was in production at some point. You know, if that was, that's another one I would watch. But yeah, there's really not that many. I think Waterboy, Happy Gilmore, and Billy Madison are really the only three from that era that I would make an effort. Like as Big Daddy and Mr. Deeds, some of these other movies, Little Nicky, you know, really they did fall off a little bit. And so I wouldn't be excited to watch any of those. And then some of the other ones, even from that, like Wedding Singer, that's a little more serious. That's not really the same movie. So I think Waterboy and Billy Madison are the only two that I would have any interest in seeing a sequel of. And neither one would I be as excited as this one. This one to me was for sure the right one to choose.
Yeah, he's got like his own genre of movie in a way where it's like you said, the plot is really not the point, and you can ignore some of the absurdities of it regardless, just because it's, you know, that's not what you're here for, right? So like the whole thing with Chubbs, we act like Chubbs getting his hand bit off by an alligator and then taking its eye, and then Adam Sandler one day like then, you know, killing it in the middle of a golf course. We kind of normalize that in this world here. So like when new Chubb shows up, we're not shocked. We're actually like, yeah, that makes sense for him to have lost his arm in the vending machine.
And also for them to not even bother trying at all. Like it's so clearly that he's just holding like a little wooden hand out. Like they don't at all bother with like, you know, effects or anything like that, which I appreciate.
They just lean into it being dumb. And I think that like if you're able to separate yourself from, you know, any type of realism in this movie, then yeah, that's the point of the Waterboy, and even in a way, and even, you know, Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison is completely absurd, you know, but these absurd movies, they did get our attention. And so I guess maybe you just lean on the nostalgia for people like us who grew up watching it. I don't know, Keith, you know, do you think that any of the new kids, any of the youth, are they clamoring? Do they care about this movie at all?
I think yes. I think like Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore are like in a class where they're in the 90s classics. I know when I show my kids 90s movies, I don't know if Alex feels the same way. They actually hold up more than a lot of the other things we liked. Like, I don't know if music, I don't think they'd be like, hey, I love Nirvana now. I don't think they do stuff like that, you know, or the TV shows we watched. I don't know if like, some of them maybe like I bet my kids would like Full House or Saved by the Bell, but I don't think my kids would be super interested in Seinfeld. But with movies sometimes hold up. I think this one is in that class. And I just think, like, I'm sure Netflix is going to announce in a couple of days or it'll leak that the numbers were just obscene, and they're going to, I mean, of course, these numbers could be fake because Netflix controls all their data. It's going to be like, this is the #1 original, comedic film of all time, and it has 10 trillion minutes watched in the first week. You know how it is. You're the Netflix guy. Like, they're going to do something like that. And then it's like, well, let's do, then it's like, what should be next? They should just put it to a poll. What should we do next? Waterboy 2, Big Daddy 2, Billy Madison 2. Just make everybody happy. They could write the script in 3 weeks. He knows, like, he already has everyone to call on speed dial. By the way, no Kevin James in this one, right? That's the one guy from, like, the Sandler verse that I think missed this one. Is Kevin James in and I missed it? No, right?
No, I didn't see him. I didn't see him in there. I wonder if there's anybody else that didn't make the cut. Anybody that he called that we didn't see. I mean, he got, like I said, he got the greatest hits, though. I don't think I went in looking for anybody that was, that didn't stand out. But he has the people from Grown Ups. I don't think all of them were in there. I think Schneider was, but not Kevin James, not Chris Rock, obviously.
No Spade.
No Spade.
Yeah, I guess maybe that crew, but maybe they also might have filmed this whole thing in like 15 days, and they were just all working. Sandberg,
they were filming this around my neck of the woods. Like, people were seeing Adam Sandler for like weeks. Like, in all over northern New Jersey. He was definitely in the neighborhood, showing up at the bakeries and the putt courses, and so he was around. I'm not sure why he chose to film it here. I don't know if what kind of perks New Jersey gave him, but that was fun.
I think
there was nothing I recognized, but some of the people I was watching with recognized a couple of film locations actually in the movie.
I think canonically this is set in Connecticut, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it is in Connecticut. All the signage is for Connecticut. He may have a house there. I think he lives in LA, right? I don't think he lives on the East Coast anymore.
I'm sure he's
based in LA, it is in Connecticut. You're correct.
Yeah, because I think Happy Gilmore is Connecticut and the Gilmore Girls is Connecticut. And I don't know if this is the same family of people. I've never seen. I don't know.
One universe.
Of the Gilmores, it's like that, like the upper crust family in Connecticut. That's really,
the Bruins thing makes more sense at being Connecticut. Although, shouldn't he have been a Whalers fan, really, Akiva?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, where did Sandler grow up? Didn't he grow up on like?
No, he's from New Hampshire.
Oh, right, he's from New Hampshire.
Yeah, him and Sarah Silverman.
He was born in New York, but he grew up in New Hampshire. I don't know. Weird that he's a Bruins fan, because is he a Mets fan also? Isn't he a Mets fan?
I'm not sure. Do either one of you guys know? Because Chappell, you accurately said Post Malone's real name. Do you guys know Bad Bunny's real name?
I used to know his real name. I think I used to because I wanted to go to the concert. I think it was like Benito or something like that.
Yeah, Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio. Because when I looked at the cast, I'm like, Benito. Oh, this is Bad Bunny. And then for Austin Post, I'm like, who the hell is that? And then I clicked on it. Oh, that's Post Malone. Okay, got it.
Yeah, Marshall Mathers was in here. There's a few. A few. I don't know. So to me, it was a fun watch. It's definitely something that I would check out again or watch, just kind of to have on in the background when there's nothing else going on. It's good for a laugh, but it's not going to win any awards except for, probably an award for, breaking the record for probably the most cameos of all time. But I still think it was fun. I think that if you haven't watched it and you just listen to us talk about it, go check it out. I don't know what it is about golf that doesn't allow it to just penetrate my mind, Akiva, to where I would care about it. But it's the most I've cared about golf in a long time.
That's it. That's a big, it's a big compliment to golf. Did you at least feel like, ooh, this atrocity that the new golf people are trying is not real golf? Like I as a golf sort of like someone who doesn't love golf, you still like, hey, this is mini golf. This is silly.
I mean, it is mini golf, but that's the thing. Like mini golf, first of all, there's leagues of people playing mini golf around the world. My old boss, he used to, like, I guess he was like a big mini golfer, and we didn't know. Like, it was like
pro mini golfer. Was he a pro mini golfer?
He was a pro. Is that a hobby?
Is that like below podcasting, like a hobby you don't tell people? You're
absolutely
like the world's third best, but you don't mention it because it's kind of embarrassing.
He and I were both like sneaking around with his side hustles. I'm like doing podcasting about Big Brother, and he's like always on the.
What's more embarrassing, mini golf or watching like 5 hours a day of the Big Brother live feeds?
Oh my God, mini golf. Sorry, it just is.
Wow.
But some of the aspects of mini golf, it seemed like they could maybe, throw in the golf a little bit, make it a little bit more fun, add a few more of them windmills or something like that. Just, I don't know. I feel like.
Don't say windmill. Don't say windmill. You know who's going to pop up.
Yeah, I just feel like there should be something. So, like, although I was joking when I talk about the shot clock, there's got to be something that you can do to make this game a little less stale. Even the golfers, they're talking about, like, oh, Happy, we got to go play again, but we're all old and stiff. It's like, y'all are always old and stiff. Like, I feel like you got to loosen up. I do like the scene. Is that Kim Whitley who popped up and was like, oh, yeah, Adam Sandler is going to make black people care about golf again. It happened. Living proof right here. Having cared since Tiger. And now I'm back to, like, kind of on the fence. So I don't know. I feel like they got to do something because right now you might have people's attention.
Yeah, and Tiger gets one mention in passing when Shooter McGavin refers to himself as the best golfer of the 90s, and then later on in the movie, Happy Gilmore says, "You were the best golfer of the 90s after me and Tiger," right. Which is the only mention of Tiger throughout this movie. Also, exactly how good of a golfer was Happy Gilmore, because in the movie, it says that he won 6 tour championships, which I will note that no golfer in history has ever won 6 PGA championships.
But no, this isn't really the tour champion. This is essentially like the Masters. They just don't have the rights.
Jack Nicklaus won 6 Masters, the most ever.
He's like the GOAT. He's one of the GOATs. He has won 6.
Yeah, like it's literally him, Jack Nicklaus, and Tiger Woods, like the greatest.
Hey, show the bust. It's
they had the bust.
Arnold Palmer. He is on the Mount Rushmore of golf, Alex. It's Nicklaus, Palmer, Woods, and Gilmore.
It's impossible for someone. It is impossible for someone who is that good at any sport to ever become
that bad. There's no way.
No, I'm not even talking about badness. I'm talking about to become as poor as he is, because you could just show up at appearances and get paid $100,000.
I have a theory.
Show up for 5 minutes.
I have a theory.
Yeah.
Okay.
He kills his wife.
Yeah.
And A, it's like a little realistic that he wouldn't want to be in golf. B, it becomes such a toxic name. I hear what you're saying. You could do an autograph signing and make, $75,000 in a couple hours if you're that famous.
There's no level of toxicity, I don't think. Like,
I guess
O.J.
these days
Simpson
you're right.
could have kept making money.
He's right. Yeah. You just you just become friends with, like, I don't know, Trump or Putin or someone, and they like vouch for you. But I think you're right. It's crazy how poor he gets. But, and then, like, okay, he loses all his money in the lawsuit, but first of all, he's got the world's worst lawyer. If, like, you lost all of your money in one lawsuit that you beat up a guy who's still alive. I just think. Also, Shooter McGavin is like, this was my tour, and then he's like, he doesn't have the gold jacket. Like, you never won one, and you think you're in the GOAT talk, Shooter McGavin? You never even won one. He's like, oh, you wish you had one of these. And he's like, he talks like, Shooter McGavin talks like he's, Shooter McGavin is kind of the, he's like the Karl Malone of, he's like, he thinks he was on the level, but it's like, how many rings do you have?
Yeah.
Maybe Charles Barkley, is that a better analogy?
Well, it's just weird because Shooter was next up in the first movie. Like, he was like one tournament away from having that moment and being one of the greats. And then Happy came and then sent him to the insane asylum. Like the idea that that's what Shooter ended up getting charged with. And they like, oh yeah, we like just charge him with insanity and put him away. So he missed out on his heyday. But even still, like you said, Akiva, he wouldn't have had that heyday. He would have been very much like Malone or something, where like now Jordan is here. What is he gonna do? Like, I think that, like, once Happy shows up, there's probably what he said, 6 gold jackets, probably a decade and a half, 2 decades, where there's no other, named golfer that's making any types of waves. So I don't know. That's probably a really good point. Because he's flat broke, and he's also like drunk. I think murdering his wife.
We didn't talk about that.
There.
It's like
we gotta talk. Yeah, we gotta talk about the flask. This man has a flask in every item, because I think the first time they show him kind of pull one out, he's working at the grocery store and he starts drinking out of a cucumber.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it took me
he's got a golf ball.
He
wants a golf ball, and then there's some alcohol in there.
Yeah,
a lot of those were very funny. At a certain point, it started to get a little old, and also, again, from a plot perspective, it didn't make sense because he had gone out of his way to get rid of all his alcohol during the whole that whole sequence when he's going sober, and so why he still has more of these in his like one of his clubs, for example.
He had so many, you can't get rid of them. Who knows where they are? I
guess so. Yeah,
he hid them all over the place.
One was the iPhone. That was the one that really sent them over the edge. Was when he got the iPhone. I also kind of like, my eyes kind of glossed over when he got in the drunken golf cart accident. To me, like you said, it's cartoonish or whatever. But there were definitely moments where I was like, all right, what are we doing? You know, the him flying through the air on the golf cart and exploding into Eric Andre. It's just like, all right, a lot of this is just a little
him to hit rock bottom in order to get back to the top. Also, like the fact that he was, you're talking about like it's unrealistic that how broke he got, Alex. The fact that he became like the world's worst golfer. Like, okay, I understand. Like golf is a really hard sport. If you went away for 5 years, you would suck your first time back, but you wouldn't suck worse than like a random person at a municipal club. Like he didn't remember how to hit the ball. Like he was so incompetent. And it's how many years has it been since she died? I don't even know.
10 years.
It had been 10 years, I think.
So like, okay, that's a long time not to pick up a club, but it's like crazy how bad he was. But it was pretty funny, I guess.
Yeah, well, he had a mental block. You know, he murdered his wife, and everybody just acted like that was
murder.
Okay. I think so. Like at least manslaughter. You know, with the golf club. You know, he hit her from 200 miles away. And, you know, he just like smacked her, but she's dead, and so now he can't golf anymore, and he has to, like you said, he had to pick himself up from rock bottom. And he was quite awful. So I don't know. It was fun. It was a fun thing to watch. I definitely recommend it for all the people who grew up watching these types of movies. I do really feel like it is that love letter to Adam Sandler and his career, at least the early days, the Happy Madison days, I guess. But yeah, overall, it was straight. It was fine. It was a good time. And I guess we'll be back in November to talk about that movie you just mentioned. Is it Jay Kelly? Yeah.
Jay Kelly. Yeah.
Hits Netflix on December 5th. And so I'll be checking that out probably here on Nothing But Netflix. And maybe we can have you all back to talk about something else. I really have been enjoying all the sports content that they have here on Netflix. Chester, it's been a good time. The Untold series is fun.
Yeah. Are you going to watch WWE? They have the new WWE one came out today also.
Yeah, I sent it to Matt and Mari about that one. I think that was a different one though. It's like that wasn't Untold. That was like Untrue or something like that. Like
yeah, they have to work on the names. The names are very generic. They need better names for these shows. Everything's like quarterback or like guy, random guy.
Yeah. Did anybody check out Quarterback season 2? Did y'all watch it?
I watched it.
You know he did. He loves Kirk Cousins. You know he was there.
No, I don't.
Oh yeah.
It was not great. Listen, you got to get lucky on the cast of a player who has a super breakout season or goes to the Super Bowl or something like that. They got lucky in Quarterback season 1. Right. They got lucky in starting 5 this first season with Tatum and Ant. They did not get so lucky with Quarterback season 2. So it was not great. But you know, I still it was only 7 episodes. I assume they would have had more, but yeah, Carson Palmer doesn't make the playoffs. Kirk Cousins loses his job. Jared Goff loses his first playoff game. So yeah, not
jeez, blah. Yeah,
those were the 3 they went with.
What one other thing I thought of the movie that I was surprised about. So like I figured like, all right, sometimes you can't get Julie Bowen's a big star. She's had a great career since the first movie. You think you couldn't get her. She's like in a bunch of scenes because she's dead, but she's in it. So it's not like they couldn't get Julie Bowen. They could have maybe had to write around her a little bit. And they just don't give him a new love interest. Like I guess they give a lot of respect to his wife. You know, that like she's dead, but there is no love interest at all. Like the only women in the movie who have a speaking role beyond maybe like the one woman at the municipal course who does the split are his 2 daughters who aren't even really actresses. Like this movie
does not pass the Bechdel test.
No, not at all. But you know, there is no hint of a woman besides Julie Bowen.
He's pretty connected now to Jennifer Aniston and Queen Latifah, I think was his love interest in Hustle.
Yes.
So, you know, yeah. So I don't know if they're building out any love storylines or whatever.
And not Megan Fox, Julia Fox, Uncut Gems.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Julia Fox. That's who it was. Yeah, that's it. That's Happy Gilmore 2. The sequel. Hopefully we will have more fun things from Adam Sandler to talk about. But until then, thank y'all so much for joining me to talk about this. You know, ideally I was like, hey, maybe Rob will be here to talk about it, but he's not. So I was very much happy that y'all volunteered y'all services.
Can we plug something, Chappell?
Go ahead. Do your thing.
We're in the process right now of talking to 32 fans of 32 NFL teams in 32 days before the NFL season starts. And that's what we're in the middle of. I think you usually make an appearance, you know, not to flex, but usually at the end because your team is good. My team's usually goes at the very, very beginning. But so we will probably be hearing from Chappell and a lot of other great people, including a couple people maybe with some Survivor ties in the next month.
I think the third episode is with someone whose wife was a Survivor finalist. But that's a tie, right?
No, that's pretty dope. Can't wait to check that out. That's how I came across 32 Fans. I was listening to y'all's sports content, so I've been a fan for a very long time. And yeah, I'm very happy to come on and talk about the Ravens. But I always get Jason for backup because he's a little bit more positive than I am. And people get to be like, you're complaining about a good team. It's like, well, you get tired of just losing when you need to win the most, So it's like I have a different level of trauma when it comes to talking about that team. But I love to hear the other people talk about.
A lot of optimism usually. A lot of teams are like, everyone's going 12-5 every year,
Yeah, we all can't, and so a lot of people are disappointed. But that's the NFL, What else y'all got going on? I just joined you over for a podcast recently.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We are doing a bracket. Alex found the list of the 132 television shows that have been called the greatest show in television history, and we did a bracket. And we've had great guests. We had Mike Bloom, our friend Amir. And then just now to decide what makes the Sweet 16, we had Chappell on this week. Check that out. A lot of really tough decisions. We almost made Mike Bloom cry 2 rounds ago. But this round, we really had some brutal decisions to make. A lot of close calls. So check that out if you're a TV head. I also have Rob and Akiva Need a Podcast. We did an AI episode last week. People seem to like that. Back this week. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to plug.
Yeah. Chester, what about you?
Well, obviously 32 Fans, as Akiva said, we'll be pumping out 32 episodes over the next 32 days. So we'll be providing lots of content and then even more for patrons. And then I am doing Pretty Good. That's the name of my Seinfeld podcast that I'm doing with Av Sinensky. We had a 3-hour episode last week, also featuring Mike Bloom. Mike Bloom really getting around lately. We had Mike Bloom, and we had another surprise guest as well. And so look up Pretty Good in your podcast apps if you want to listen to Seinfeld and other shenanigans there.
Yes, and you can also check me out here on the Nothing But Netflix podcast every week talking about Netflix shows. But right now, the top 10 of Netflix is just bombarded with Adam Sandler. I'm sure everybody went and watched Grown Ups 1 and 2 in preparation for Happy Gilmore 1 and 2. But yeah, the top 10 is packed with Adam Sandler. So if you know of something that you want me to talk about here on Nothing But Netflix, please let me know. You can tweet me or skeet me at Nothing But RHAP, or just put here in the comments on the RHAP YouTube page on We Know Reality TV or We Know Scripted TV, wherever this lands, you'll see it. But make sure you let us know what you want to hear us talk about next on Nothing But Netflix. But that's it. You guys, we'll talk to y'all next time. Let us know what's coming and subscribe to the podcast, nothingbutpod.com. Peace.
This is RHAP. We Know Reality TV.